Hello, good day viewers. Welcome to another mathematics presentation. So right here with me, I've got a question that is coming from mathematics paper 1 under the topic called linear programming. So this is question 21. The question reads, in the diagram below, point A is 1,1, point B is 0,7, point C is 14,0, point D is 7,0, and point E is 7,1. So this is the Cartesian plane that we are given, and we have lines. We have this line right here, which is line A. Then we also have this line, which is line B. Then we also have this line, okay, which is line C, okay, which in fact point C. So we have point A, point B, point C, and we have point E and the point D. So these are the points, okay. So after identifying where our points are, then we know that these points have got coordinates. So according to the question, point A is having 1,1. Then point B is having 0,7. Then point C is having 14. This point C down here is having 14.0,0. Then D right here is having 7,0. So before you do anything, first take note of these points. Then E is having 7,1. So these are the points that we have. So after noticing our points, then let us look at the question. So here is the question. Write down the 4 inequalities that define the unshaded region R. So you can see we have this region R, it's unshaded, okay. So they want us to write 4 inequalities. So how are we going to answer these 4 inequalities? So it's very simple. First, what you need to do is take note of the simplest lines. So I'll say this is our line 1, okay, because it's easy to work out. Then say this is our line 2, okay. So when you look at line 1, for example, it's passing on this point right here, on this point D, and on this point D we have been given the coordinate 7,0, meaning if you have 7,0 and the coordinates are written in the form x, y, okay, so this means this 7 is the x coordinate, then this y, this 0 is the y coordinate. This is one thing you must know. So this line, it's a dotted line, okay. This line 1 is a dotted line which is passing on the point x is equal to 7. So upon identification of that, then we need to use the inequality sign, okay. So we understand that it's passing on the point x is equal to 7. So here we say x. Now look at the line. The line is it's a dotted line, and the shaded part is this side, okay, showing us that starting from 7 going to the right hand side, all the numbers are greater than 7. Then the unshaded part is the one that you want to define, okay, the unshaded part. So here we are going to say x less than 7. So this is the wanted part, the shaded part. Then we'll describe using the opposite. So this is our first inequality. So we now come to number 2. So number 2, this is where the line is, and it is a solid line. So if you have a solid line, simply means that your inequality sign will either be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, because you have a solid line. Now this line 2 is cutting the y-axis at this point, okay. It's cutting the y-axis at this point. So when you look at A, this point A was plotted using the coordinates 1, 1, okay. It was plotted using the coordinates 1, 1. So this simply means that the x coordinate here is 1 and the y coordinate is 1. So it means this line 2 is cutting the y-axis at 1. So this is y is equal to 1. Okay, so the shaded part is less. Okay, the unshaded part is greater. So we describe the unshaded part, the opposite. Okay, so you say y is greater or equal to 1. This is our second inequality. So I hope that we are moving together. Okay, all right, so now we have answered for this line. We have also answered for this line. So this tells us that we are only remaining with this line and this line, therefore. So we can name this one as our line 3, this one right here, this line which is passing on 0, 0. So the reason why I've chosen this one is because I know that you understand one property. When the line passes on 0, 0 right here, if it cuts the y is equal to x-axis, this is the line. Okay, so this is the line, y is equal to x. Now looking at the shaded part is the top region, and the top region is higher. Okay, the upper region is greater, then the lower region is less. So we describe it using the opposite side, which is less. And look at the type of line that we have. This is a dotted line. So I'm going to say y is less than x. This is our line 3. Okay, so if you remember, I did mention that even if you want to use this point A, okay, you can use this point A and the coordinate 0, 0. You still get the same thing. Okay, you still get the same thing, meaning the same you get the gradient, then you find the equation of the straight line, you still get the same line y is equal to x. So we have answered our line 3. Let us just work out our line 4. So this one, name it as our line what? Our line 4. So for our line 4, what we need to do first is this line, okay, is passing on this point B, okay, which is 0, 7. So I'll pick this coordinate 0, 7. Then I also pick this point C right here where it was passing, and this point C we said it's 14, 0. So upon picking those points, I can use the same points to find the gradient. So before we find the gradient, we name our coordinates. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So first thing, let us find the gradient. Okay, so we find the gradient. So we find the gradient, of which the gradient formula is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So from there we just need to fuse in where we say m equal to, so what is the value of y2? So our y2 is sorry, this is supposed to be y2 is a 0, our y1 is a 7 over our x2 it's a 14, then our x1 it's a 0. So from here we just say m is equal to 0 minus 7 we get negative 7 over 14 minus 0 we get a 14. Okay, so from there what we just need to do is just to simplify, where we say m equal to, so 7 here, negative 1 over 7 into 14, it's a 2. So this is the value of the gradient. So after finding the gradient, we can now find the equation of the straight line. So to find the equation of the straight line, we can use this formula, y minus y1 equal to m open bracket, x minus x1, like this. So there are those who are used with the other formula, finding first the constant value using the y-intercept formula, that one. So when you come up with this formula, we need the coordinate for y1 and x1. So we are solving for this line right here, this line 4 that we labeled. So we said the coordinates we have 14, 0. Okay, then you also have another coordinate which is 7, 0. Yeah, I think, let me take a look at it. It's 0,7. Yeah, so these are the coordinates that we have. So from these coordinates that we have, you can pick any. Okay, so let's say if I pick this one, this will be x1, this is y1, or you can pick this one, it's fine. So you plug it in this formula where we say y minus, where there is y1 we put a 7 because I've picked these coordinates. Gradient is a negative half, open bracket, x minus x1 is a 0. So from here, what you are going to do is, let me write it here. I'll just write y minus 7 equal to negative half x. So what has happened here is negative half has opened the brackets by multiplying everything inside. Negative half times x, it's negative half x. Negative half times negative 0, it's positive 0. Now just write this because 0 won't bear any difference. So from here, what I'll need to do is, we need to take this negative 7 to the other side. So I'm going to have y is equal to negative half x, then plus a 7. Okay, this is what we are going to have. Now remember, we want to come up with inequality. So what we need to do is, we write y, we leave space, we write negative half x plus 7. So what you need to do is, we need to go back to our diagram, we look at the line. So I hope we are able to see, this is the line, this is the line. Now the shaded part is the upper region, which is greater. The unshaded part is the lower region, which is less. So we describe this inequality using the opposite, which is less. Then the type of line that we have, it is a solid line, so it will be less than or equal to. Okay, so that is our inequality sign that we are going to use. So we come back here, we'll just write y is less than or equal to negative half plus 7. So on the boxes here, we write our final answers. The first inequality that we had was x. Let me just take a look at them. It was x less than 7, y greater than or equal to 1, and y less than x. Okay, so these are the answers. So just write them here. X less than 7, then we have y greater than or equal to 1. We also have y less than x. Then we have this one, which is y less than or equal to negative half x plus 7. These are the required inequalities. Let me just confirm for, okay, it's y less than x. So these are the required inequalities, 4 of them. Okay, we are done. So thank you so much everybody for having time to view this content. Bye bye.